Alright guys, welcome back for another video. Today I've got for you 2 plywood packboards. This is an item I haven't seen how to find many videos about, so I thought I'd share them with you as they're a bit different. We'll do what we always do. I'll get the camera down to show you one of the boards, show all the different features, the accessories for it, and then we'll have a couple of examples of different ideas of what you can do with it, as well as some examples of some strange things that were done with it in the war that I've managed to find online. So I'll get the camera down and we'll get started. Right guys, so here we've got a packboard all stripped down, and you can see there's very little to it. Essentially all these are is a sheet of plywood. You've got these brackets on each side. You've got gaps down the middle. These are for mounting these little metal shelves which can be mounted at any point. You have a pair of canvas straps riveted to the packboard. These come out the back and you wear them like a backpack, and they are just buckled on to the bottom of the board through one of the holes. And then you have up to 4 of these quick release straps for attaching equipment and easily being able to get it off in a hurry. And at the top here you have some holes for a loop of rope. Most of the time when you see these, they don't have 4 of the quick release straps. Instead of the equipment is attached with rope which goes diagonally down from each of these points and then across and back up to securely strap down whatever you have onto the plywood packboard. Alright, so here we have it spun round so you can see the back. So you can see, again, very simple, it's just a piece of plywood with the edges curved round, and then in the middle here you have a canvas sheet that is attached to the sides via rope and held very tight. This is your back pad, so this is what disperses the weight against your back when you're wearing it to make it a lot more comfortable than if it was just a piece of wood against your back. Now if I pivot that forwards, you can see there the gap between the canvas sheet and the plywood packboard itself. So you can see this is tightly strapped on here, and I push it in, that doesn't get nowhere near the board, so you never have this thick solid weight against your back. That's always the padded bit of canvas instead. And you also see here your 2 straps, which are just like backpack straps, so you just chuck this over your shoulder and you just wear it like you'd wear a modern backpack essentially. So this packboard I got of new old stock, so that was an original board that had never been issued, and that still even had the instructions stapled to the top of it. So this is in very good condition, and this is a 1944 dated packboard. I have others that are slightly later, and they did have some upgrades and changes done to them over the years. These were used all the way into the Vietnam War from the Second World War, so they had a long time to be changed. So a couple of the changes they made, they have some attachments added up here that stuck up at the top, little metal points, and they were for putting your rifle on. If you had your sling, you'd put it around the strap or around the metal bit that was sticking up. So when you're wearing this, obviously you couldn't really then have your rifle around your shoulder as well. Instead you'd have your rifle around the packboard. In one of the later modifications in the 60s, I believe it was, they added a quick release fitting to one of the straps. So on one side you'd have a quick release buckle, so if you needed to drop this in a hurry you could just flip a little lever up and just chuck the board off the other shoulder really easily if you needed to move in a hurry. And one of the other later additions, when they added the straps or the mounts for the straps of your rifle, they were originally very fragile. They were solid things, you couldn't move them at all. They changed them for more like a metal framed bracket which could flip up and down. I'll get some pictures of these off the internet because none of my packboards have them, and I'll put them up here so you can see what I'm talking about. So let's just have a quick look at the accessories. So the main accessories to the packboard are going to be the quick release straps and the shelves. So with the shelves, you see you've got these cutouts on each point here. You see this one's got a shelf at the bottom. Here I've got another shelf so I can show you how they go on and off. So basically, you can see the shelf has got just a pair of clips that are almost sprung, say, on the back of them. And all you do to put these on is you put your clip over a section like that, just apply some pressure, and that'll open them up and attach your shelf like that. You can then have separate things on each shelf if you don't want them all stacked together. If you have ammo tins or something like that, you just stack them on top of each other. But if you had some strange loadout and you wanted the stuff to be physically separated, then you could do it like this. So say you had an ammo tin here and then you had some cargo packs or something on the top, you could simply undo the strap at the bottom and take the ammo can off without having the rest of it fall down, because that'll be on the second shelf here. The second main item is the quick release strap. Now normally these don't have 4 quick release straps on them. They can take up to 4. You can see the brackets where you mount the rope on the sides also has the holes in the side where you thread through your strap. And these are quite a strange design. So I'm going to get one of these loose and I'm going to bring you in on that closer so I can show you how these work, because they're a bizarre strap. Right, so you have to bear with me a little bit here. I'll try and show you how these work. So these are your 2 ends of your strap. So you see one end has got a buckle on it, just a normal clip on the end, and then this end has got the mechanism, if you like, how you actually work it. So if you had this strapped around your packboard, you'd have that set up like this. Assume my hand is the packboard, and then this end of the strap would come round like this. You'd have it round whatever you had on your packboard and ammo tin, say. You'd get it tight by adjusting this like you would any normal buckle on, say, a set of suspenders or anything. It works exactly the same way. And then that clips in there like so. And then you pull this over and that pulls the bracket tight, and you end up with a tight fit like this, and that won't come apart because that won't be able to move. And then when you wanted to undo it, you simply flick that over and take the clip over. And I'll show you an example of that on a packboard with some equipment on it. Right guys, so I've got through the 50 caliber ammunition tins here and show you how these work. So we've got our packboard, it's ready to be set up. You've got the shelf put on the bottom of it. You simply get your tin, sit it on your shelf like so, and you get your quick release strap. Find your other end, and you see I've set this up already, so this is really tight, and you pull that and you get it to clip on like this. Then you simply throw that latch and this tin is now secure. Show you that when I get it. Because the ammo tins are stackable, you don't need a separate shelf. Simply put the second tin on top of the first one, come round and find the right strap, which is this one. Get the buckle for it. Make sure it isn't twisted. Right, guard like so. Pull it nice and tight. I've done these really tight because I don't want anything to be able to move. Clip that in there like that, and then throw the latch. Your second ammo tin's on, and as you can see, don't want to shake the camera too much, but I can't move that tin at all. Third tin on the top. Get your strap. Put it on, third latch. So now you've got all 3 ammo tins mounted, and you've even got a 4th strap if you wanted. You can bring that on. These can be a bit of a nightmare to not get twisted. This one has got twisted. There you go. So you get your last strap, put that on the top here. Third latch. And you've now got 3 50 cal tins securely mounted to your packboard. When I give it up, you see, give that shape. Nothing's going anywhere. So that is an example of how you stack something simple like an ammo tins on it. You could also use this to put a jerry can, a water jerry can, wooden ammo crates. You just strap it all on like this. If you have a wooden ammo crate, you also just could use the rope to tie it across. If you have cans stacked like this, I don't think the rope's going to be as secure as having the straps. Alright guys, so here's one of my other pack boards, because I've got a couple of these. This one's a 1945 dated pack board, so that's had some of the later features. You can see this has got something a bit more interesting on it for you. Set up the same way, one shelf at the bottom. This one only has 3 quick release straps on it. But what we've got set up with is an M1919A4 30 caliber machine gun inside its canvas bag, and the M2 tripod for the 30 caliber machine gun inside its protective case at the bottom here. So let's have a quick look at this one. I'll show you how these are when you put them on, and also show you how them rifle clips work that I was saying about, because this one has them on. Right, so it's just a quick look at the clips that you use for the rifle slings. And I see, like, what I mean, they're very basic. It's just a piece of metal riveted on, and you get one on each side. So all you do is chuck your sling over there. And the later model one, this would have been a little bracket with a metal frame that came up here, and you flick the frame down if you weren't using it, or flick it up if you want to use it, and that's very tight, so they didn't just fold down. Also here you can see where the dates of these are put on the back here. Just give you a quicker look of the strap. And then you can see how the rope goes through the back of the canvas here, and you just do that up really tight so that this has a lot of tension on it. And where the straps attach at the bottom. Right guys, so here's a view of how it's set up with the 30 cal and the tripod on it. So you can see all that's happened here is, whilst this is laying down flat, you've laid the machine gun on it, you've laid the tripod next to it, supported right up tight against the shelf here, and then you've brought 3 straps around. You've got to have one right at the bottom because you don't want them wiggling around at the bottom, another one in the mid, and then one closer to the top. I didn't think that was necessary to have a third one here, because if you can see, I'm shaking that pretty hard. That gun's not moving nowhere, and nor's the tripod. So you can attach pretty much anything to one of these. Mortars, 30 cal, water cooled 30 cal, 50 cal if you take the barrel out and have it on separately, although I wouldn't want one of them on my back. I've never seen a photo of them doing it, but it is possible. Your ammo crates, your ration crates, your fuel cans, your water cans. If you want to put your haversack on here, or musette bags, you can do that. And they also... Right guys, so let's see if I can put this on and show you how these work and how they look on top of an M43 jacket as part of your uniform, and see if I can do this on camera without looking like too much of an idiot. It's probably unlikely. So I've got another piece of equipment out here to add to it as well. Got my M1 carbine, so if you're doing part of your machine gun team, if you're going to have an M1 carbine and you've got your pack board, you may as well just pop it on. So there you can see that will just hang on the side of that clip there. And then all you do is you put it on like a backpack. There you go. So as you see, that isn't hard for me to move about with. I'm a fairly big bloke, so I suppose that gives me a bit of an advantage. But that's quite comfortable on your back. The shoulders are going to be a bit painful after a while, but they did do pads for the shoulder straps that you can get hold of. I think they're a very late war thing, so I doubt the first ones had them. But this isn't too uncomfortable, and you can see really quite a nice bit. The carbine is flapping around a bit, but if you wanted, you could strap that into one of the quick release straps at the bottom here, and then that's not going to move. And if you had a musette bag with you or something like that, you could chuck that on the other side too to keep your personal items on you, because just because they have a pack board doesn't mean they ain't going to have any of their normal equipment to carry as well. So other weird things that I've seen that these have is someone come up with a bright idea of trying to strap the 30 cal to it in a way that you can actually use it as a machine gun. So I put a picture of that here, and I've actually done something like this at a display just to show people of some of the weird things they tried to think of doing with these. So what they did is they got the 30 cal tripod like you see here, but they cut the legs off it, and somehow managed to mount the actual part of the tripod that the gun's pintle goes in directly to the pack board, which you can see in this photo. And then the idea is someone would wear the pack board with the machine gun mounted to it in its pintle mount, and someone else would be with them, and when they want to fire it, the guy would jump on the floor face down, with the packboard up behind him, and then the other person can simply crouch down behind him and use the machine gun straight away. This was, as far as I know, never used in combat. I'm sure that was just some people experimenting with some silly things they could do. But I mean, the idea is sound, but you wouldn't want to be the person with the machine gun going off right next to your face, or having it swinging around on your back with live ammo going straight past your head. It's really not the best idea, and it doesn't make a lot of tactical sense either. Other things they did with this, they had a canvas bag that was for medical supplies. The medical supplies often come in these big metal and wooden trunks that are extremely heavy, and they had a bag where you could split one of them big trunks into 2 medical bags, and they were built specifically to go on these packboards. I'll get some photos of them and pop that up here for you and see what I mean. I'd love to find one of these bags, but I've never ever seen one. I should imagine there'll be mega money if I ever do come across one. But they're interesting, and you could, if you managed to get hold of one of them, you could use that to pack whatever you wanted into them, because they're quite a big size packboard. Other things you can do is, if you've got big bed and rolls, tents, stuff like that, you can strap them all to your packboard. You can have a couple of tins and then just have a bed and roll on top of it. I've seen pictures of stuff like that. I'll try and find as many different photos as I can to load up for you here. So really, these they're a universal load-bearing piece of equipment. In terms of when they start turning up, these started being used, as far as I'm aware. They started being used in Italy around the Monte Cassino fight sort of time. I've never seen one dated before 44, but they were being built in 43. So they were in Normandy. It's apparently not as popular as you might think in Normandy, because they just used their vehicles instead. They were originally designed for mountain troops, you see, so that makes more sense if you think about it, where you can't have any trailers or transport at all with you, so having something like this is much more suitable. So let's go over some ways that you can use these on your displays and some examples of when I've done it on mine. So obviously the main use for one of these as a display is having it set up with a piece of equipment, either like what we've got here, and just having them laying around in parts of your equipment. You could have one with your ammo tins set up with your 50 cal or your 30 cal. If you've dug a foxhole, have it inside there. You can have, if you've got a weapons stashes, anything like that, have them set up mounted like this. They fit in vehicles nicely. If you've got a bustle rack on your Jeep or trailer or bigger vehicle like a weapons carrier, you can have these inside it and they look good on display, regardless of what piece of equipment you've got in them really. But probably the more interesting way to use them is if you're actually doing some living history or any sort of mobile walking event, because then you can actually wear one of these on your uniform with all of your weapon. You'd have this on instead of a haversack or a musette bag. And that gives you something a bit more interesting. It's not something you normally see, but if you're doing something like a 30 cal machine gun team, if you've got a couple of people with these, someone could have it with ammunition on it, someone could have it with the gun on it, depending on how you want to carry the equipment. Find yourself some wartime photos of it. I've seen some footage of machine gun teams where there's a 3-man team and they've all got one of these with ammunition, just nothing but 30 cal ammunition tins in them, as well, and then the assistant gunner's got the gun and the other person's got the tripod on their shoulder like you'd normally see them, but just with tons of extra ammo on these packboards. Right guys, check these out. This is what came off my new old stock packboard. That was still stapled to it. So this is the instruction sheet you get with them, with all the old style cartoon drawings, and it shows you the different postures for standing with it, how to put it on if that's got a very heavy load. It shows you the accessories and how they all fit on. Examples of attaching it with rope with big amounts of like canvas bags, stuff like that. Spin it round. On the back you've got the quick release strap system, how the shelves work, pictures of how to fit a normal 1919 to it, how to fit a 60mm mortar to it. Here you've got the 1917 water-cooled machine gun's massive cradle, tripod and cradle strapped to it. You really wouldn't want that on your back. The water-cooled 1917 mounted to it, a bigger mortar down here, and the bipod and everything for it. I just think these are really, really nice little things to have. I mean, this is pretty much immaculate. The fold and everything is how that came fitted to it, that had never been come off. But just look at them little cartoon drawings. They're just, I think they're brilliant. So I hope you enjoyed seeing this, because I don't think probably not too many of these survived. So I'm going to make some photocopies of these to give to some of my friends, just because I think these are really cool little items. Right guys, so I hope that's been entertaining for you. Maybe you've even learnt something. These are, again, like I say, one of my favourite things to have on the events, because you can just do so much with them. So if any of you do get a chance to get hold of these, I really recommend you do pick them up. They're really nice bits of equipment, and you can use them for so much stuff. You could use them for Korean War, World War II, Vietnam. They're just brilliant little items to have. So please do like and subscribe. We're slowly getting the channel to grow, very slowly, but that's still forward progress. Like and subscribe, leave comments, ask questions, and anything you'd like to see. If you've seen anything in the background whilst I've been messing about that you'd like to have a closer look at, just let me know in the comments and I'll have a chat with you, alright? Thanks a lot guys, and I'll see you later.